Lucifer is one of the most controversial and mysterious figures in Christianity, but his origins date back to Jewish tradition. The name Lucifer comes from the Latin lux, light, and fair, to bear or carry, meaning light bearer. In the biblical tradition, Lucifer was originally a beautiful and powerful angel created by God. The name Lucifer appears in the book of Isaiah, Isaiah 14:12, as a reference to the morning star or the planet Venus, but in the context of the king of Babylon, which was later interpreted as an allegory for Satan's fall. Over time, the figure of Lucifer became associated with Satan, the fallen angel. The fall of Lucifer. The story of Lucifer's fall is widely interpreted based on the account of his rebellion against God. In various Christian texts and apocryphal writings, it is said that Lucifer, in his pride and desire to be equal to God, rebelled. Lucifer's fall is described as a celestial battle, where he and the angels who followed him were defeated and cast out of heaven, condemned to live in hell. This event is often described in the book of Revelation, Revelation 12:7-9, where the dragon, representing Satan, and his angels are defeated by the archangel Michael and cast out of heaven. Lucifer as a symbol. Lucifer, in many esoteric and occultist cultures, came to be seen as a symbol of freedom, knowledge, and questioning. For some, his fall represents the quest for free will and the desire to break free from divine authority. Within some currents of occult thought, such as La-Vean Satanism and the Luciferianism movement, Lucifer is seen as a figure of light and enlightenment, rather than a symbol of evil. This reflects the idea that Lucifer, by rebelling, sought autonomy and transformation, rather than merely being the embodiment of evil. Lucifer in Christianity. In Orthodox Christian tradition, Lucifer remains a central figure in demonology, representing pride, rebellion against God, and the origin of evil in the world. His fall is one of the most powerful allegories in Christianity, teaching about the corruption of pride and the consequent loss of divine favor. Satan. Origins and role in scriptures. Satan, also known as the adversary or accuser, has a complex origin and evolved throughout the biblical scriptures. The word Satan comes from the Hebrew Satan, meaning adversary or accuser. In its early references in the Old Testament, Satan is not seen as the prince of darkness, but rather as a figure who plays the role of an accuser in the heavenly court, more like a prosecutor of evil. For example, in the book of Job, Satan appears before God as part of a heavenly court, challenging Job's faith in God, testing his loyalty. Satan is God's enemy. Over time, the figure of Satan transformed from a mere adversary to God's principal enemy. In Christianity, Satan is seen as the leader of the fallen angels, those who followed Lucifer in his rebellion. The Satan of the New Testament is often described as the embodiment of absolute evil, the tempter who leads human souls away from God. In books like the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Luke, Satan tempts Jesus Christ in the desert, offering him power in exchange for his worship. The cosmic struggle. Satan is also seen as the leader of the cosmic war between good and evil. In the Christian view, he is responsible for deceiving the nations and spreading sin and corruption throughout the world. This is emphasized in texts like the book of Revelation, where Satan is described as the great dragon, making a final attempt to destroy God's creation before being defeated once and for all. Satan and temptation. In terms of temptation, Satan is a figure who instigates human desire to rebel against God, whether through the temptation of the flesh, pride, or greed. In many accounts, he offers easy solutions to human dilemmas, but at a high cost, the separation from God. Asmodeus. Origins and meaning. Asmodeus is one of the most powerful demons mentioned in demonology, with roots in Persian mythology. In Judaism, he is best known in the book of Tobit, part of the Old Testament, where he is described as the demon responsible for the deaths of Sarah's husbands, a young woman who would marry but whose husbands died on their wedding night due to Asmodeus' intervention. This demon is typically associated with the sin of lust and lechery. Asmodeus in demonology. In medieval demonology, Asmodeus is considered one of the 7 princes of hell, associated with the 7 deadly sins, with him personifying lust. His figure is often described as having 3 heads, one of a man, one of a sheep, and one of an ox, and riding a dragon. Asmodeus as a tempter. In Christian tradition, Asmodeus is seen as one of the chief tempters of humanity, leading people to succumb to the temptation of lust and sexual sin. He represents the corruption of souls that give in to unchecked desires and passions, leading them away from the path of virtue and morality. Representations in popular culture. Asmodeus appeared in several literary works and cultural pieces throughout history, including in Dante's Inferno, where he is depicted as one of the cruelest demons. He also has an important presence in esoteric culture, where he is frequently invoked by those seeking powers related to pleasure and desire. Beelzebub. Origins and meaning. Beelzebub, also known as Beelzebub, is a central figure in demonology, commonly known as the Lord of the Flies. The name Beelzebub is derived from a Philistine deity called Beelzebub, which meant Lord of the Flies. The Philistines worshipped this god as an intermediary between them and spiritual forces. In Christian tradition, Beelzebub is considered one of the most powerful demons, and he is often identified with Satan or as one of his main subordinates. Beelzebub is the lord of corruption. Beelzebub is often associated with the deadly sin of gluttony and moral corruption. He is seen as the leader of a legion of demons that spread chaos, disease, and sin, especially those related to excessive pleasure and debauchery. In the scriptures, he is often described as the demon who invades the most vulnerable souls, leading them to perdition. Possessions and appearances. Beelzebub is known for his ability to possess individuals. In the Gospel of Matthew, it is suggested that he has the power to possess those deemed vulnerable, leading them to commit impure or immoral actions. His figure was widely associated with the idea of demons that seek to corrupt humanity through worldly pleasures and vices. In popular culture, Beelzebub appeared in several literary works, such as William Golding's Lord of the Flies, where he is symbolically represented as the embodiment of evil and savagery within human society. His image as the Lord of the Flies is a metaphor for the corruption that spreads and contaminates everything around it. Astaroth. Origins and meaning. Astaroth is one of the most well-known demons in medieval demonology. His name derives from Astarte, a fertility and love goddess in Phoenician mythology, but over time, the figure of Astarte was demonized in Christian tradition. Astaroth is described as a great duke of hell and is associated with several sins, such as vanity and sloth. He is portrayed as a highly intelligent being, often advising those who seek power and forbidden knowledge. Powers and abilities. Astaroth is often seen as a demon who seduces and manipulates people through intelligence and cunning. He is known for his ability to offer advice and information, often leading those who summon him to treacherous or destructive actions. He is also associated with witchcraft and magic, frequently invoked by those seeking to learn the secrets of the occult. Astaroth in occultism. In occult traditions and black magic, Astaroth is often portrayed as a spirit of wisdom and enlightenment, but at a high price, the corruption of the soul. His ability to manipulate the human mind and his power over selfish desires make him a dangerous figure for occult practitioners.